you know, the Mafia never came to LA. They was everywhere else. So if the Mafia couldn't come in LA and they was everywhere else, they can stop the Crips and Bloods if they want to, but they don't want to because it makes so much money.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real. Real life street stars. You know what time it is.
In the movie Colors, how accurate do you feel the movie Colors was of the LA gang culture?
Well, actually, I think Colors, a lot of my homeboys was in Colors, just like they was in Beat It. DJ Quick say...
Wait, Beat It was a bunch of gang, like real gang members?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I thought that was...
No, it was 13 Crips from my neighborhood. 2 of them is dead, 11 is alive. And I had a chance to do a piece on him. And I've been talking to Cassis. He's one of the guys. And you know, he signed an album for every one of the Crips that was there, and nobody know what album's at.
Oh,
and they worth a lot of money. Yeah, we was in the Beat. They was in the Beat It video.
Yeah. All right. So, back on the movie Colors. How accurate was the movie?
Well, you got to understand this. The movie was real accurate because you know the Mafia never came to LA. They was everywhere else. So if the Mafia couldn't come in LA and they was everywhere else, they can stop the Crips and Bloods if they want to, but they don't want to because it makes so much money. How could you stop the Mafia, one of the most powerful gangs in the United States, and you can't stop the Crips and Bloods? That's how LA is. The police is the gang. They're the real gangsters.
And that's what I'm about to speak on next as far as, you know, again, a lot of our viewership is probably too young to remember, you know, LA riots and, you know, everything of Rodney King and all that. How harsh was it? Like just you being a young man growing up in LA and you see a police driving by, like how harsh were they on the black, either gay, just a black individual, just a young black male or whatever?
Well, it depends. You know, you got 2 types of police in Los Angeles. You got the LA sheriffs and you got the LAPD. The LA sheriffs is a bunch of white boys that came from down south or whatever. They all look the same. They all got the same size. They're red. They just like KKK in the uniform. And they would beat you up. They done killed a lot of people in LA with the chokehold. They all allowed the chokehold. And they are one of the biggest gangs in Los Angeles.
Do you have an experience yourself or either anybody that you know, any homeboys, whatever?
Do you really want to know about a story about the police?
I mean, hey, again, we're trying to bring realism to this.
Okay. I seen the police slap my mother before. And we fought the police.
Wait, hold on. Do you know the backstory behind what happened? Were you there? Did you see?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what happened. We had a store around the corner from my house. And back in the days, they had these soda trucks and these trucks that sell cosmetics. And they be open. They don't really be closed like they is now. And we used to steal sodas and stuff off the truck. And one day somebody stole a bunch of stuff off the truck, but they ran by our house and went to the next house. And the police came around there, but they didn't know they went. So they ended up at our house. So they got to ask my mom and them, where did the guys go? Did they come in here? And they like, nah, they ain't coming here. So my mom was trying to push him out the door and the police put his foot in the door and he slapped my mom and we all started fighting the police. God. I was a little kid and it kind of like made me, you know, want to be a little different, you know, want to make me rebel against law enforcement. But that happened when I was in elementary school. You know, if you go back and look at the records, you can go to the Firestone Police Department, which they moved, and you can look up the police records. I arrested my mom and took majority of them to jail. And we was fighting in there. You know, it was early in the morning. Oh, wow. And that's one of the stories that I have, fighting the police as a youngster. And it's another one where a guy named Trip Box, they fought the police. And we got one of the guys that's one of the best karate guys in our neighborhood. He did sparring with Bruce Lee. His name's Eighth, and I did a piece on him. He fought the police too.
He sparred with Bruce Lee?
Yeah, he was working on some of the movies he sparred. Yeah, yes, sir. His name's Eighth.
And he fought the police?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm assuming he won.
He's a Vietnam vet. He's still alive. I can show you some stuff.
But I'm assuming he must have won. God.
Well, they really didn't kill him because he was a veteran. And they knew that he came back from Vietnam. And He's still over there, but he cut cars and stuff. That's one of the guys that been in our neighborhood making lowriders for forever.
What was one of the most, for those that don't know and never been to LA, what was or what is one of the most active gang streets?
I would say one of the most active is pretty much our neighborhood in Florence. That's the Latino gang. They one of the most, because it runs all the way from that way to that way. So they one of the most gangs that's kind of like active. But back in the day, we all hung together. Then they start getting into it. But that is one of the most active Mexican gangs. But I haven't really noticed a lot of active other gangs besides East Coasts and the other ones. Because, I've been away for so long. I really wasn't in LA prisons.
You mentioned the Mafia couldn't get into LA, as far as the gangs were there.
Right.
Then therefore the drug trade came in. For you, as far as what you saw as being affiliated and, maybe dabbling into yourself, what was the drug of choice as far as to sell back then? Like, as far as, this is before, I'm assuming this is before the crack era.
Right.
So what was the drug of choice back then prior to the crack era?
And I also wanted to mention Whitey Bulger, who he had in LA for 30 years because they knew he wouldn't be there. Remember?
That's why, that's why they wouldn't go.
Because they know the Mafia don't go there.
Man.
And the drug of choice before cocaine was pretty much PCP. They called it angel dust and it evolved to, PCP. Now,
when it came to, again, like I said, we had Freeway Ricky in here, and he said, it opened up for him. And he himself used a lot of gang members to, get it off on the streets. For you yourself, did you see like selling dope as a way of providing or as a way of obtaining what, when you see a Raymond and you see, the heads maybe either looking flashy or whatever it is, or is it for you like, hey, I'm going to get into the game too because I'm going to get in, make this money, get out?
A lot of people look at Freeway Rick, you look at Waterhead Bo, you look at Melvin Butler, you look at Honcho. These guys is big in those areas. So when you have these guys that's major drug dealers, the neighborhoods they live in is gangs there. I never knew Rick as being a gang member, but the majority of his people that he lived in his neighborhood was Hoovers. You know what I'm saying? So Waterhead Bo is out the 60s, but his majority of the distribution, his stuff was 60s. So you got to understand, a lot of these people is kin to people. Just like a lot of blacks is kin to people in the NBA, NFL. So that's how a lot of this stuff pulls into a gang affiliation, just like the rap have. It evolves into gang affiliation, and everybody has some family members incarcerated. So that's how that happened.
When you watch, and again, it's a fictitious story, but it's pulling out of, some of the real that happened, like a Snowfall.
Right.
And you've seen them move to, I think they went to Little Rock, Arkansas. A lot of the drug flow went there. From your knowledge and from your history, where did it go? Was it Vegas? Was it Texas? Was it Louisiana? Was it Arkansas? Did it get to the East Coast? Like, as far as when people say, hey, I'm going to leave LA and go spread my wings elsewhere, where were they normally going back then to even bring the gang culture to either the Midwest or the East Coast or down south or wherever?
Well, actually, when you look at the banging in Little Rock, that's one of my homeboys that was about.
I got some family on that. My family's from Little Rock.
Well, I know some people from Pine Bluff.
Yeah, man, my family's from Pine Bluff as well. Cotton plant, all that. So, I seen two of my cousins was on that back in the 90s. Yeah,
I think one of my homies from 5'9", that was him that was in that banging in Little Rock. But I ran into a lot of guys in the federal prison that had been all around. But you asked me about how the drugs get all. Yeah. Okay, so. Actually, when I first started going out of town, I went with Melvin Butler. We went to Vegas. That's how we start But you have to have a way to get drugs out of LA. Because, you know, Florida got their own thing and we had our own thing, and it was the stuff was cheaper. So you want to get it to cities that where you can make more money. So I first went to Las Vegas with Melvin Butler. And then Melvin Butler running the Rayford Evans in Vegas, because a lot of people go to the fights in Vegas. And that's how people start meeting each other. Just like now, I talk to people all over the country because I met them in the feds. If they would have never put me in jail, I wouldn't know all these guys. So when they put me in the feds, I know dudes, man. I mean, I know dudes from Alaska. That's Crips, you know. It's crazy, man. One day we'd be able to talk about it. One day we'd be able to, you know, talk about, I mean, even the smallest towns got gangs.
Yeah, nah, we said Alaska.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Alaska, Belize, Jamaica. I know Crips all over there. Bloods, too.
Yeah, no, man, they spell Eskimo with a C.
That's what it's like, Samoans and stuff like that. Man. Yeah, them Samoans is big, you know, kind of big in LA, too.
Shout out Reallyfe Street Starz, nigga. Move it. Hey.